Good morning. Welcome to the pre-meeting of the Newark Municipal Council on Tuesday, August 6, 2024. Council members, we are on page 2 of the agenda. Item 5, reports and recommendations of city officers, boards, and commissions.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and good morning to everyone. Any questions from council members regarding reports and commission? Seeing none?
Ordinances on first reading. 6FA is an ordinance granting a 20-year tax abatement to 305 Wilson Avenue Urban Renewal LLC for a project to construct a self-storage space in the East Ward.
Questions or comments from council members? Seeing none?
6FB is an ordinance amending the tax abatement granted to 40 Clinton Urban Renewal LLC for a project to rehabilitate an existing building and create 27 market-rate residential rental units located at 3640 Clinton Street in the Central Ward.
Questions or comments from council members? Is Deputy Mayor Ladd here? No? Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Brandy
morning.
Daniel, Legislative Coordinator for Economic and Housing Development.
Thank you so much, Brandy, for being here with us today. Just had a quick question. We were correcting the minimum annual service charge. Can you tell us what it's going from, what it was and what it's going from?
Sure. 1 second. I do have that information. Let me go get it and I will come back. and let
Okay.
you know
Oh,
what
I'm
that
sorry. I
is.
see Deputy Mayor. You can
Okay.
email it. It's fine.
You sure?
Yes, that's
Okay.
perfectly
No
fine.
problem,
Thank
Council
you.
President. You're
Any
welcome.
other questions from council members regarding this item? Okay. Next item.
Public hearing, second reading and final passage. 6PSFA is an ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or his designee to enter into and execute the sale and transfer of city property.
Questions or comments regarding this item? Seeing none?
6PSFB is an ordinance adopting the Sixth Amendment to the Newark Downtown Core District Redevelopment Plan and amendment to the Newark Plaza Urban Renewal Plan.
Questions or comments? Seeing none?
6PSFC is an ordinance to amend Title II Administration, Chapter 10, Department of Economic and Housing Development of the City of Newark to define vacant lot, clarify various definitions, and establish registration requirements and fee schedules for vacant lots, sponsored by Councilman Council and second by Councilman Crump.
Questions or comments? Councilman Crump is going to be not present tomorrow. Do I have another second? Someone,
Second.
second, I think Councilman Quintana was first. Oh, he said Roundtree. Oh, give it to somebody. All right, so we'll do Councilman Roundtree in absence of Councilman Crump. Okay, next item.
6PSFD is an ordinance granting a 25-year tax abatement to ADL 605-607 Broad Urban Renewal LLC for a project to construct 84 residential rental units consisting of 71 market-rate residential rental units, 13 affordable housing rental units, of which 4 units shall be restricted to tenants at 40% of area median income, AMI. 4 units shall be restricted to tenants at 60% AMI, and 5 units shall be restricted to tenants at 80% AMI in the Central Ward.
Questions or comments from council members? Seeing none?
6PSFE is an ordinance granting a 30-year tax abatement to 746, 765 South 14th Street Urban Renewal LLC for a project to construct 3 townhome-style buildings consisting of 30 market-rate residential rental units, 8 affordable housing rental units in accordance with the ordinance in the South Ward.
Questions or comments from council members?
Yeah, I'll sponsor that.
Okay, Councilman Council wishes to sponsor. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Kelly Dupre. All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, next item.
6P SFF, there's a motion to defer this item, Council President and council members.
Okay.
6P SFG is an ordinance granting a 30-year tax abatement to 297 Clinton Urban, is an ordinance granting a 30-year tax abatement to 297 Clinton Urban Renewal LLC for a project to construct a new 4-story multifamily senior citizens age-restricted building consisting of 64 affordable housing rental units restricted to tenants at 60% of area median income in the South Ward.
Questions or comments from council members?
Madam Chair, I'll sponsor that item.
Okay, Councilman Council wishes to
Second.
sponsor, second by Councilwoman Roundtree. Any other questions? Next item.
6P SFH is an ordinance granting a 30-year tax abatement under the HMFA law to Springview Development Group LLC for a project to construct a new 5-story building consisting of 63 residential units, of which 5 units reserved from homeless shall have a maximum rental income of up to 20% of area median income AMI. 2 units shall have a maximum rental income of up to 30% AMI, and 56 units shall have a maximum rental income of up to 60% AMI.
Questions or comments regarding this item?
Madam Chair, I'd like to sponsor that item.
Okay, Councilman Council wishes to sponsor. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Kelly. Any other questions regarding this item? Next item.
6P SFI is an ordinance amending Title 23 Traffic by prohibiting right turns from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard onto Sussex Avenue in the Central Ward.
Questions or comments regarding this item? Seeing none?
6P SFJ is an ordinance amending Title 23 Traffic by prohibiting right turns on red at the intersections of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Sussex Avenue and Central Avenue, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Orange Street in the Central Ward.
Questions or comments regarding this item? Seeing none?
6P SFK is an ordinance amending Title 23 Traffic by adding west side of Fabian Place between Nye Avenue and Lyons Avenue, and the east side of Fabian Place between Shaw Avenue and Lyons Avenue in the South Ward.
Questions or comments?
Madam Chair, I'll sponsor that item.
Okay, Councilman Council wishes to sponsor. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Kelly. Next
Six-
item.
6P L is an ordinance amending Title 23 Traffic by designating 14th Avenue and South 6th Street as a multi-way stop sign intersection in the West Ward.
Questions or comments?
I'd like to sponsor that.
Sponsored by Councilman Kelly. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Council. Next item.
Second reading and final passage, item 6SFA. The public hearing was closed on July 10th because the item failed, but it's an ordinance amending Title 23 Traffic, stopping or standing prohibited at certain times to include fines for the violations.
Got it, but there's no public comment on it.
No public comment.
All right, any questions regarding this item? All right, seeing none?
Resolutions. 7RA is a duplicate, so there will be no action taken. So items 7R1B through 7R1H are temporary emergency appropriations. B is for the homeless housing grant. C is for uninsured residents for dental care. D is for the development of texting service for the public use. E is for the Ryan White HIV/AIDS-related support services. F is for the Ryan White healthcare services. G is to provide operating expenses until the adoption of the 2024 operating budget. H, to address the safety needs of the Lincoln Park community. And that's it.
Any questions regarding these items? Seeing none?
7R1I and 7R1J are the use of state contracts. I is for the removal of oil drums and other emergency response services from recycling. And J is to provide body-worn cameras and other items for the Newark Police Department.
Questions or comments from council members? Seeing none?
7R1K is a cooperative purchasing agreement to purchase trophies, plaques, and other recognition items from the Morris County Cooperative Pricing Council contract. Council President, council members, this item is requested to be amended on the floor to include the Newark Municipal Courts in addition to recreation.
Okay, duly noted. Any questions or comments regarding that, council members? Seeing none?
7R1L is a cooperative purchasing agreement to purchase multi-size front-load containers for the Department of Public Works.
Questions or comments regarding this item? Seeing none?
7R1M is amending resolution to provide for the operation, management, and administration of the services for the Government Access Television Studio.
Questions or comments regarding this item? Seeing none?
7R1N is an assignment of a contract agreement to consent to the assignment of a contract for consulting services and technical assistance for the HUD entitlement programs.
Questions or comments? Seeing none?
7R1O is a memorandum of understanding to enter into a memorandum of understanding enabling the City of Newark and the South Ward Environmental Alliance to create a partnership to apply for the United States Environmental Protection Agency Environmental and Climate Justice Community Change Grant Program.
Oh, this is great. Questions or comments?
Yeah, I'd like to sponsor that item.
Councilman Council wishes to sponsor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Roundtree. Awesome. All right, next item.
7R2A through 7R2K are private sale redevelopment agreements. A is to build a two-story, two-family dwelling with 4 affordable units at an income level ranging from 40 to 60% of the area median income in the South Ward.
Questions or comments regarding this item? Okay, next item.
B is rehabilitate the property into owner-occupied housing in the South Ward.
Questions or comments? Councilman Gonzalez.
Yes, I just want to clarify that the assessed value of this property is $187,000. I just want to hear why this property is being sold for $55,000 when the assessed value is $187,000, if that value is correct.
Good morning, Deputy Mayor.
Good morning, Council President, council members, Allison Ladd, Director of Economic and Housing Development. Regarding the item that's under discussion, this property is currently a structure that is located on the land. The price point is more similar to the higher end, so I know it's $15 per square foot that we're selling the property for. On the assessed value, I'll check to see if there's any changes due to internal, like sometimes there's a fire or some type of other unfortunate issue with the property. So I'll verify that and let you know by email.
I don't have an issue with the $15. Actually, that's in the higher end of the scale that we're selling the properties for. But I believe it looks bad that we have something here that is appraised or assessed at $187,000 and being sold for 1/3 of the price.
Understood, council member, and council president, I'll follow up with you on that and the council members today.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions regarding this item?
No.
All right, seeing none.
C is to create a side yard for the adjacent owned property in the South Ward.
Questions or comments regarding this item?
I'm gonna ask it to be deferred.
Okay, Councilman Council wishes for the item to be deferred. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Roundtree. Next item?
D is new construction of a three-family home to provide one affordable unit and two market rate units in the West Ward.
Questions or comments regarding this item?
Yeah, I asked for this item to be deferred.
Okay, Councilman Kelly wishes for this item to be deferred. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Council. All right, next item?
E is to use existing lot to provide parking to adjacent property in the South Ward.
Questions or comments?
I'm asking for it to be deferred.
Okay, Councilman Council wishes for it to be deferred. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Kelly. Next item?
F is to rehabilitate a three-family home of which one unit will become owner-occupied and of which the other two units will be rented at market rate in the South Ward.
Questions or comments?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Gonzalez,
I have the same question on this one.
the assessed value.
Yes.
All right, Deputy Mayor Ladd, if you can follow up on the on the 7R2F1 as well regarding the assessed value at $156,200. Any other questions or comments? All right, next item.
7R2G, G is to rehabilitate property and sell to an owner-occupant homeowner at 80% AMI or less in the Central Ward.
I'm actually going to ask for this item to be deferred. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Council. Next item.
H is to provide a parking lot for the patrons for adjacent business in the North Ward.
Questions or comments? Any
I'll
other
move it.
questions or comments?
Sponsor.
Councilman Ramos wishes to sponsor, second by Councilman Gonzalez. Next item.
I is to remove existing retail structure and lease out property to retail users at market rate in the South Ward.
Questions or comments?
I'm asking for the item to be deferred.
Okay, Council wishes for the item to be deferred. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second by Councilman Gonzalez.
I raise my question on that one too.
Yes, go ahead. The same one or?
The same question is that is for, let's say the assessed value is $178,000 and we're selling it for $50,000.
So add that one to your list too, Deputy Mayor Ladd, 7R2I regarding the assessed value. All right, next item.
J is new construction of a three-family dwellings, one unit to be sold at market rate and the other will be sold as an affordable unit at 60 to 80% AMI in the West Ward. Council President, council members, there is a request to amend on the floor to make all the units affordable housing.
Oh, great, yeah. All right. Admin for all affordable. Okay, and look at that, Councilman Gonzalez. Look at the assessed value and the sale amount. Any other questions?
Yeah, I like to sponsor this.
Okay, Councilman Kelly
Second.
wishes to sponsor, second by Councilwoman Roundtree. I knew we would get one out of there. All right, next item.
And K is to provide an office space for HCJ construction with 3 residential units above with parking. 2 units will be market rate rentals and 1 unit will be affordable at 80% AMI in the South Ward.
Questions or comments regarding this item?
They would like to defer it.
Okay, Councilman Council wishes to defer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Kelly. Okay, all right, next item.
7R2L through 7R2N are execution of a deed or execution of an affordable housing agreement. L is to authorize execution of a deed restrictive home ARP affordable housing agreement with Fairmount Commons Urban Renewal Associates LP for the construction of 2 new residential affordable housing buildings that will consist of 70 residential rental units, 11 of which such units shall be subsidized by the city, designated as home ARP program units, and serve households who are homeless or at risk of being homeless and having annual incomes of 30% or less of area median income as determined by using the standards set by the Department of Housing and Urban Development in the West Ward.
Yeah, we'll take that. Any questions or comments?
I want to sponsor this.
Okay, Councilman Kelly wishes to sponsor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Roundtree. This is great. Hopefully we see a shovel in the ground. All right, next item.
M is to authorize the execution of a deed restrictive home affordable housing agreement with Ascension Capital Partners LLC for the construction of a new residential affordable housing building that will consist of 16 residential rental units upon real property on Astor Street in the East Ward.
Questions or comments regarding this item? Seeing none?
N is to authorize execution of a deed restrictive home affordable housing agreement with Jared Jamar Construction Company Incorporated for construction of 2 new 3-family homes for a total of 6 housing units, 4 of which shall be designated as home assisted units and subsidized by the city in the West Ward.
Questions or comments regarding this item?
I'd like to sponsor this as well.
Councilman Kelly wishes to sponsor. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Quintana. Any other questions? Next item.
7R20 is declaring an area in need of redevelopment in the East Ward.
Questions or comments? Seeing none?
7R3A is a bid contract for the installation of pavement markings on various streets in the city.
Questions or comments regarding this item?
Yes, I just would like to see the list of the streets that will be marked. I didn't see it in the Legistar.
Director? Is it possible for you to send us the list of these streets that are going to be included in the pavement markings?
Sure, sure. Good morning, Council President, Council members. I'm Dolores Martinez Wooden, Director of the Department of Engineering. Yes, so just one thing, we want to focus on school crossings and so on and so forth because this is our city funds. But we will make that list available.
Got it. Thank you. That would be great. Can you get it to us before tomorrow?
Before tomorrow, yes.
Okay,
We're going
great.
to send over to you what we have because, you know, we're in the infancy of the project with the contractor, so things may change, but whatever we have available, we'll send it over to you.
Okay, sounds great. Any other questions for the director regarding this item? Seeing none?
7R3B and 7R3C are application acceptance of grant funds. B is for the New Jersey Department of Transportation Local Aid Infrastructure Program. And C is for the 2025 Sub-Regional Transportation Planning Program.
Questions or comments regarding this item? Seeing none?
7R3D is designating a bus stop along Pennsylvania Avenue northbound on the easterly side thereof at Emmett Street and at the near side location beginning at southerly curve line of Emmett Street and extending 105 feet southerly therefrom.
Questions or comments regarding this item? I do want to circle back. Did we ever get the answer of who is responsible for cleaning these bus stops? Because a while ago, a couple of meetings ago, it might have been a long time ago, I don't know, I lose track of what meeting we on and what month it is. But we had asked a question about who's responsible for the upkeep of these bus stops. And I think that you were supposed to go back and speak to a few people to see who is responsible for them. But I mean, they're not being cleaned. So it's nice to, you know, have them up, you know, but they're dirty beyond. So we need to figure out who's responsible, you know, for cleaning them and keeping them up and who's doing regular maintenance of them. I mean, honestly, if one gets damaged and no one does anything to it until we report it, you know, from City Hall to say, hey, this is damaged or the glass is broke. But can we get a response about who's responsible for keeping them clean? Okay. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none?
7R4A is preliminary official statement and disclosure agreement for the issuance of notes, approving official statement and disclosure agreement for sale of bond anticipation notes and special emergency notes.
Is this yours, Ben? We haven't seen you in a while, Ben. You've been staying away from us.
Good morning, Council President, Council members, Benjamin Guzman, Department of Finance. The item before you is a resolution just authorizing the sale of bond anticipation notes. These are notes that will be maturing in September, and we will be, in essence, rolling them over with paying some principal down on the outstanding debt. The majority of these notes will be to fund capital improvement projects throughout the city that have been previously approved.
Questions or comments for Ben? Councilman Gonzalez?
No.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
All right, you're welcome.
Good to see you. Next item?
7R4B is authorizing the foreclosure of 22 properties. Council President, council members, just before we move from this item, there was a discussion of whether it was 22 properties or 31. And I just wanted to check with Ben to make sure he's okay with the number.
Oh, it looks like you're back up, Ben.
Sorry, Ben.
Good morning, Benjamin Guzman with the Department of Finance again. Yes, I was informed this morning that the list of properties had decreased from 31 to 22. And so I understand that if any amendments need to be made to the resolution to decrease that number to 22, the Department of Finance is okay with that.
So basically, it's not 22, it's 31.
No, it's 22.
22.
It was, I guess, as it went through the review process, certain properties, as it were being reviewed in the law department, certain properties were removed from the list that the tax collector's office had provided, so it is now 22 properties.
Okay. Any questions from council members regarding the foreclosure list?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Ramos.
we get a list of the ones that were removed and the reasons why.
Yep. Ben, can you get that to us?
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions or requests regarding this item? All right, thank you. Thank you, Ben. Next item.
Thanks, Ben. 7R4C and 7R4D are stipulations of settlements for tax appeals.
Any questions regarding tax appeals? Seeing none?
7R4E is a tax sale on or before December 31st, 2024.
Questions regarding the tax sale? Yes, Councilman Gonzalez.
I remember at one point in time, we only had one provider of the service. I suppose that now we have more than one provider and we go for bids.
Good morning again, Benjamin Guzman, Department of Finance, Council President, Councilman Gonzalez, to your question. There are multiple providers of the service. The city did go out to bid, and the contract was awarded to the most responsible bidder.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you.
7R5A and 7R5B are contracts with sub-recipients to provide Ryan White HIV health and support services. A is for Rutgers, the State University Infectious Disease Practice, and B is for Trinitas Regional Medical Center.
Questions or comments? Seeing none?
7R5C is application acceptance of grant funds to provide oral health care to New Jersey's uninsured residents.
Yeah, another grant. Questions or comments? None? Thank you. Love some good grant money. I should be more excited. We should be clapping for that. All right, civil, all law, this is going to be discussed in executive session?
Yes, 7R6A through 7R6D are all settlements to be discussed in executive session.
All right.
7R8A through 7R8C are hold harmless and amending a hold harmless agreement. A is for the Evening of Jazz, sponsored by Council President McIver. B is
Anybody
for,
wishes to, I'm sorry, oh, I'm so sorry, Madam Clerk. Anyone wishes to second the Evening of Jazz?
Second. Oh.
Second by Councilwoman Roundtree. Next item.
is the Four City All-Star Tournament, sponsored by Councilman Kelly.
All right, we vetted this out? Vetted this item out?
Yes.
Just want to be clear. All right, do we have a second for this item? Why y'all laughing at me? I'm dead serious. Councilman Quintana wishes to second. Just want to make sure I get nervous when I see basketball. All right,
And
next item.
C is the Senior Summer Barbecue, sponsored by Councilman Ramos.
All right, do I have a second? Second by Councilman Quintana. Next
7R8D is a ceremonial street designation for the Honorable Charles A. Bell, sponsored by Council President McIver.
Question, a second, anyone else should, second by Councilman Kelly. I just want to thank everyone who came out to the event. It was definitely a, unfortunate situation that happened, which, caused us to have the ceremony urgently. Definitely someone who was well deserving of a street dedication. And I just want to thank all of my colleagues that had the opportunity to come out to celebrate in both the dedication as well as the motorcade and all of the memorials that we had this past week for the late Councilman Charlie Bell, who was amazing here in this city and did so much and was a pioneer here. So thank you so much to everyone who participated and all those community members and stakeholders who came out, former council people as well, who came out to celebrate his life and his legacy. So thank you. And thank you to the clerk's office who made everything happen fastly. So thank you so much.
7R8E and 7R8F are waiving special event application and permit fees. E is for Jazz in the Street, sponsored by Councilman Council.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Roundtree. Next item.
F is the National Health Center Week, sponsored by Councilman Quintana.
Second, do I have a second? Second by Councilman Ramos.
7R8G is declaring opposition to the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025, formerly known as the Presidential Transition Project, sponsored by Councilman Quintana.
Yes, Lord. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Council. Next item.
7R8H is recognizing and commending resolutions, and 7R8I is expressing profound sorrow and regret.
Any questions or comments regarding these items? Seeing none?
7R11A is a memorandum of understanding with the Trust for Public Land to allow access to redevelop and rehabilitate and improve Broadway Park. My apologies.
Questions or comments regarding this item? Councilman Ramos.
Yeah, I'd like to sponsor.
Okay, Councilman Ramos wishes to sponsor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by second by Councilwoman Roundtree.
Yeah, Madam President.
Yes, sure.
We
Councilman
can
Ramos.
through the city department. I know we've approved a number of transactions related to this park over the last 2.5 years, and there's no activity. And I know it usually takes time, but it seems sometimes with the Trust for Public Land, it takes a little bit longer than it's supposed to. So, I'm not sure when this park project is going to start. We've committed the local resources. There's some Green Acres monies. The site is right next to elementary school, and it's a haven for illegal dumping and drug use. And I'm not sure what's taking so long. So,
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Councilman Council, I'm sorry.
I sit on the park committee. I chair the park committee. I will send out an update from the last park committee meeting that we had. There was some information that was given by Trust Public Land, who was at that meeting, about some issues with property and some other cleanup methods that needs to happen. So I'll send that out so that everybody is appraised of it.
That sounds great. And in
Thank you.
addition, whatever information Director Redding that you may have, could you get that over to the councilman and the full council? That'd be great as well. Thank you so much, Councilman Council. Any other questions, Councilman Ramos? Any other comments or questions from anyone else? All right, thank you. Next item.
7R11B and 7R11C are accepting gifts for the Department of Recreation. B is the acceptance of swimsuits and goggles, and C is a new hockey scoreboard.
Oh, nice. Okay, any questions or comments regarding this item? All right, seeing none, could we just make sure that every time we do like a gift or something, we make sure we send a thank you letter on behalf of the council? I know I said that before about something else we got, but you know how I like gifts to us here in the city. This is great when people give back, so let's make sure we just say thank you to them.
Absolutely.
All right, next item.
7R12A and 7R12B are change orders from the Department of Water and Sewer Utilities. A is an emergency repair of sewers, and B is for the corrosion control chemical feed system.
Questions or comments? Yes, Councilman Gonzalez.
12A, we have a $305,000 increase in the contract. What motivated that increase?
Somebody, I don't see it, the water and sewer. BA? Hmm. Perhaps you can ask the Director Adeem to follow up with us pertaining to the councilman's question before tomorrow.
That I will. Eric Pennington, Business Administrator. I'll get the answer and get it to the council.
Thank you.
Okay,
welcome.
all right, thank you. Next item?
7R12C is a bid contract to provide emergency repair of sewers.
Questions or comments? Seeing none?
7R12D is a bid contract to provide traffic triangle greening project. And 7R12E is a bid contract to provide repair of Timberbrook Road and Culver contract.
Questions or comments regarding these items? Seeing none?
7R12F is a pre-litigation settlement to be discussed in executive session.
Okay,
7R12G is implement a short-term amnesty program to waive accrued interest only on delinquent water and sewer charges.
that's kind. Is someone here to talk about this item?
Good morning, Eric Pennington, Business Administrator. Yes, there are significant outstanding water bills where residents have accrued some large bills, some $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in bills, many of which are residential, in an effort to get compliance with the payment of these bills. The Director of Water and Sewer and our tax collector have agreed to waive the interest if the delinquent accounts are paid in full. If they're not, they will be transferred to the tax foreclosure sale, which is on the agenda for today. And so by the end of the year, we'll go into a they will be part of the tax foreclosure properties that are up for sale.
Questions or comments from council members regarding that? Councilman Kelly? No? Other questions or comments? All right, thank you so much, Mr. BA.
Communications, item 8A is an ordinance amending Title II, Administration, Chapter 10, Department of Economic and Housing Development by amending eligible facade improvements and forgiveness of repayment of the facade improvement loan.
Can we get some more information regarding this item?
Good morning, Council President, Council members, Allison Ladd, Director of Economic and Housing Development. This item, 8A, and a companion piece, 8B, are both regarding Live Newark. The first is Live Newark facade, and the second is Live Newark down payment assistance. The reason why we're asking for you to consider this ordinance is that we need to modify the repayment structure per HUD guidelines. So as you may recall, these programs are both funded by home funds, by the U.S. Housing and Urban Development Department. And as we went through compliance review with them, they said that we needed to have 10-year repayment periods due to the amount as opposed to 5-year repayment periods. So in both cases, that's what the amendment is requesting.
Got it. Any questions or comments?
I like to
Council?
sponsor both items.
Okay, Council wishes to sponsor both. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Roundtree. Okay, what about the second one? Council wishes to sponsor that one as well. Do I have a different person like the second? Second by Councilman Kelly. All right, any other questions regarding this item? I'm sorry, Councilman Gonzalez, did you have a question regarding? Okay. All right, thank you so much, Deputy Mayor. Next item?
8B was already discussed. 8C is an ordinance granting a 20-year tax abatement to 369-378 18th Avenue Urban Renewal LLC for a project to construct 11 market-rate residential rental units with one affordable housing rental unit, which shall be restricted to tenants at 60% of area median income, AMI, in the Central Ward.
Questions or comments regarding this item? Seeing none?
8D is an ordinance granting a 25-year tax abatement to Riverfront Quarters Urban Renewal LLC for a project to construct a 64 residential rental unit consisting of 51 market-rate residential rental units, 13 affordable housing rental units, of which 3 units shall be restricted to tenants at 40% of the area median income, AMI. 3 units shall be restricted to tenants at 60% AMI, and 7 units shall be restricted to tenants at 80% AMI in the East Ward.
Questions or comments? Seeing none?
8E is an ordinance amending parking prohibited at all times to prohibit parking at all times on Beecher Street on the east side between West Kenny Street and Halsey Street in the Central Ward, sponsored by Council President McIver.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Quintana. Next item?
8F is an ordinance amending section on parking and standing prohibited in certain areas at certain times for street cleaning to prohibit parking at certain times on Beecher Street on the west side between West Kenny Street and Halsey Street in the Central Ward.
Questions or comments? Seeing none?
8G is an ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or his designee to execute the sale and transfer of the City of Newark properties.
Perhaps some more information regarding this item?
Good morning, Council President, council
morning.
members. Allison Ladd, Director of Economic and Housing Development. This item, I wanted to make sure that we gave you as much information as possible. So last night, I was able to email you some more details, but I'm happy to brief you also this morning. This is round 2 of the Equitable Investments in Newark Communities Initiative. And it's really exciting. There's 11 sites and 11 different joint venture partnerships that are working to redevelop these sites in our city. We did this through a public solicitation, and through the public solicitation, we actually received 93 proposals for all 11 sites. And the other exciting piece is that 80 of the proposals were joint ventures in our city. And further, 8 of the 11 finalists are Newark-based companies and developers and nonprofits and community-based organizations here in our city. So we wanted to advance this in a similar fashion as we have with the land bank. And so that's why you drafted an ordinance to this effect to allow for the council to consider this as a package of properties so that we can move to construction. Why is that important? Because these properties will provide affordable housing. The total number of units proposed is approximately 300 units, and the total number of affordable units is 250. So you can see the overwhelming majority of the properties will be developed into affordable housing, and we know our city and our residents need more housing that's affordable for our residents. In closing, I wanted to share that the 11 sites, the developers' names, they are referenced, but I thought I'd share them publicly as well. Site A is Bridge Builders Newark. Site B is Nehemiah Returning Citizens. Site C is Putnam and Burroughs Development Group. Site D is Badger Madison Community Partners. Site E is Terry Developments. Site F is Apex and Urban League of Essex County. Site G is M&M Development. Site H is Fairmont Commons Holding. Site I is WBS Real Estate Development. Site J is La Casa Don Pedro, and Site K is Cara Squared along with Nason's Place. There is additional information that I provided not only in the email, but in the Legistar file that gives you a full detail itemized by site, by developer, by project that we are asking for you to consider today. I'm happy
Questions
to
of-
answer any questions.
Okay, Councilman Ramos.
Yeah, Madam President, I did have an opportunity to review the package. Since these are coming to us and as a group, you know, before the next meeting, I'd like to have the opportunity to meet with La Casa. You know, 123 Sylvan Avenue is a very sought after piece of property in the North Ward. I know there've been numerous inquiries and I would imagine LOIs submitted for that property. And the other thing I'm curious about, I know over the years, we've designated lots along Broad Street and perhaps Lower Broadway to La Casa, and I'm not sure if those lots were developed. So that's an important piece of information. You know, in the last 10 years, you know, what properties has the city designated to this organization, and what's the status of those sites? Have they been constructed? Have they been built up in accordance with their original proposal to the city? And you know, through your office, I'd like the opportunity to meet with them if I could prior to the September meeting, if this moves forward tomorrow.
Absolutely, Council President, we'd be happy to arrange that.
Sure. I will say that the ones, just to answer the question regarding the ones that are in the Central Ward, they haven't been. We have had a lot of conversation around them. A lot of residents have issues regarding some of those lots. So I just want to talk about, I only can talk about specifically the ones in the Central who have sat vacant prior to me becoming in office. So definitely something to take a look at. I would request that. I know I had an opportunity to meet with some of these entities regarding properties in the Central Ward, but specifically if there are any council members, just to make sure that these individuals are part of this, set up a meeting with the designated ward council person and any at-large person that wants to meet with them as well, should set up a meeting with them to talk about their project.
Council President, no problem. We will handle that.
Okay,
Thank you.
other
Madam Chair.
questions and comments, Councilman Council?
Yep, just real quick, just another question, just to make sure that we associate all of the addresses, that the addresses are correct on all of them. But one I'm extremely proud of is the partnership that's going to happen with the developer on Clinton Avenue with Nason's Place. So the work that we've been doing in the city to deal with our autistic population has been phenomenal. And I think now being able to provide them with a space and a home to expand those services to families and children who have a tough time dealing with children on the spectrum will do a lot for this city. So I definitely applaud that effort and hope that these folks will be prudent in their development and movement of these projects.
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Council.
So I would love to, sponsor this and ask for it to be advanced and adopted on first.
Okay, so there are quite a few of people included in this.
South.
But it might be best to have council as a whole because it's not just South Ward properties.
No, I'm
but-
asking that it be advanced and adopted on first.
Well, yes,
Yes,
let's
let me
advance and adopt. I
retract
agree with that. I'm not letting somebody don't want to fight you on it. It's
Let me
fine. If somebody,
No, let me retract that. I'm requesting that it be advanced and
just
adopted
wanted
on
to make sure.
first.
Yes, I
Yes,
agree.
not
Let's
to-
advance and adopt on first for sure.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions regarding this item? No? All righty. Thank you so much, Deputy Mayor. All right.
8H is an ordinance amending and supplementing Title 14 to permit and regulate adult use and license.
Ooh, okay, let's talk about this. So someone want to come up and give us some information? All right. Hey, Ms. Wingfield.
Good morning, governing
Good morning.
body, Madam President and governing body. Jocelyn Wingfield, Special Tax Abatement, Cannabis, Newark. So the idea behind amending this particular ordinance is to move towards expanding licensing, specifically for retail and some of the other areas. The idea behind this is to intensify our efforts in terms of equitability, and to promote movement and motivate potential applicants to move in some of our underserved areas, and to also give our non-traditional and unconventional applicant and home-based entrepreneurs a way to establish themselves as business owners here in the city. So we're anticipating expanding the retail license by at least 10, with also giving them the option to expand delivery. And we're setting some designations for some of those non-traditional and unconventional applicants who are deemed to be what we would call a legacy applicant, who has either been adjudicated, convicted of, or have an expunged record in which they were convicted of to marijuana offenses or CDS or hashish offenses.
So quick question, how many retail licensing have we given out so far?
So thus far, we have reached capacity for the standard licensing, which was capped at 5 initially, and we have reached capacity for the micro business, which was also capped at 5.
So out of those 10, how many have actually opened up?
So out of those 10, thus far, we have 2 that have opened up. We have one that's, we anticipate opening up by next week, and then there are additional businesses that are scheduled to open up in September.
Did this go through the Cannabis Committee?
Yes.
Okay, and it passed through the committee to expand licensing for these 10, additional 10?
No, we had discussion in the Cannabis Committee about it, coming forward. But
Okay.
we haven't necessarily talked about or went over in detail where those 10 would be, the locations, and how that would map itself out. So I was going to get to that, but that was good. Thank you.
Got it.
Yeah, Madam
Councilman Ramos?
Yeah, these are some pretty significant changes in the process. So, I'm hopeful that we get a chance to kind of do a little bit of a deep dive in terms of what it actually means. I know you've talked about how many applications we've given endorsements for, but how many businesses have actually opened up in Newark?
2.
So there are 2 that are actually open. There's one that is scheduled to open next week on the 12th, I believe that date is. And then there are others that are scheduled to open up in September.
Yeah. Well, why is that? Why do you think we have such a small number that have actually opened up?
So the process is a bit tedious. It could be long. You have build out that has to take place. You have inspections that have to take place. There's a bit of a backlog with the state, so you have to wait for the investigator to actually come out before to inspect the place of business before actually being able to open. So it's just a tedious process with, timelines that are sometimes set back.
So what happens if 2 years down the road, an application that we gave a letter of endorsement to, the business still hasn't opened up? Does the city have the ability to rescind its support?
Yes, the city has the ability to
Put those
res-
licenses back in line, or the
Correct.
potential
So
licenses?
if there's no movement in terms of the build out, if the applicant has not done their due diligence to move forward with the state, the city does have the authority to rescind the resolution of support that was granted.
Is anyone close to that at this point from your assessment, or?
Close to what, having the city rescind an offer? No, because everyone has done their due diligence and they're moving forward as expected.
Thank you.
Do we have an established timeline, though,
For
for it to rescind? Like, does it say somewhere, or do we tell applicants
yes,
that
we give them 2 years.
2? Okay.
Madam Chair.
Councilman Council?
I think part of the larger issue, just from my perspective as the chair on the committee, is the backlog with the state, and being able to really, once these folks move from the support letter from the city to the actual advancement of the inspections and processes that we have to go through on this end, I think we've been pretty well, and I know I've been a keen and ardent on around inspections, but we've been pretty well in dealing with our inspections. But most of the folks in the city are having large issues with the backlog from the state, finalizing agreements and other documentations. And so, I think that's why we're at this 2 margin. One just opened this weekend, and speaking with that individual, it
Mhm.
was a very tedious process, and it was a long backlog with the state that they finally broke through, and now they had an opportunity to open this weekend with much success. So I don't know what we can do in terms of that kind of conversation. I know Jocelyn has been, very well with the committee and providing information and making sure that we get information. But I don't know moving further, what we can do as a council or as a committee to, figure out what is this kind of tedious backlog with the state, specifically in this area, because other areas are moving and bustling. And, ultimately, resources and revenue is always needed in the city.
Okay. Duly noted, Councilman Council. I will, defer back to the Cannabis Committee, to, take a look and talk more about it. Councilman Kelly.
Thank you, Council Pres. Ms. Wingfield, you said that there's 5 licenses that we give out?
No, it's 5 and 5, 5
5 and
licenses,
5,
and then
5.
what is it?
5
Cultivating
for 5 for the standard and 5 for the micro.
Right.
micro.
And you said that 2 have opened up,
Yes.
and 1 is opening up on the 12th, and then the other 2 are opening up in September.
Yeah, there are a
Is
few
that
that's
the-
opening up in September.
Is that the standard or the micro?
So it's a combination of both standard and both micro.
Okay,
Both standard and micro, excuse me.
so how many out of the standard because that's 5, right, that I'm counting, right? My number's not. How many out of the standard and how many out of the micro?
That are open thus far. So
Yes.
out of the standard, there's only 1 that's open. So that one is, it's a combination of medicinal and recreational usage. And then the second one, that's the one that just had a soft opening this past weekend. That's a micro. The one that is scheduled to open up approximately next week, that's also a micro. And then the others for September is a combination of micro and standard.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Madam President.
Yes, Councilman.
Yeah, I don't want to have an extended debate on this, but I think at some point we need to look at some of the local requirements that we've imposed on this industry beyond what the state requires. I know in Newark, this is just feedback, talking to some of the prospective operators. You have this 24-hour security requirement, which I don't think any other, I wouldn't say any other, but very few local areas have that same requirement. And in our case, it deals beyond just surveillance equipment. You physically have to hire a security guard or security company to monitor the industry or the establishment 24 hours a day, which comes at a huge cost, especially for some of these smaller operators. So I think at some point, maybe through our committee, we need to just have a real honest conversation about what these local requirements mean to these smaller establishments and how it may be hindering their ability to establish themselves in the city.
Understood.
Any other questions or comments? Councilman Gonzalez, this your favorite topic.
I just want to know what's the difference between the micro and the standard.
So a micro, it can only be 2,500 square feet or less, and you're limited to the amount of employees that you can hire. So it would have to be no more than 10.
And the standard, then you can have whatever.
Yes. X amount of space
Yes,
and
I
employees.
have had conversation with people that operate one at the medicinal, and that requirement of having a security guard 24 hours is very expensive. And what they do is they go there to sleep because there's no movement in the business at night. So you're paying someone to go sleep 8 hours at night in your establishment. I believe that has to be revised. Because that might make the business prohibited and the cost to the consumers much more expensive.
Yeah. So we'll discuss in the future and come to a common ground.
Yes. All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, next item.
8I, there will be no action taken, Council President, council members. It was discussed in item 8E, actually.
Okay. All righty.
Public comment?
Any added starters?
No.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Woo. I just want to give a notice to everyone, to directors, let's continue this path right now for no added starters. Please send out all directors email to let them know no added starters. All right, with that being said, any requests or comments from council members before we have public comment?
Have a-
Councilman Gonzalez.
Yes, I would like to get a copy of the budget, including police officer expenses and cleaning of the street for the Latino Festival. I would like to know how much money we're allocating to that, being that we have a budget crisis and we're spending money in festivals. I believe that those festivals have to be postponed until the city is in a position to hold them or have the money to hold them. I don't think that we have the money at this point in time to continue having those festivals.
Okay, Mr. BA, can you help us get that information? And Madam Clerk, you can follow up with the request, formal request in writing for that information. Other requests, Councilman Quintana, do you have one? Anyone else? Councilman
Yes.
Council?
I didn't, I was going to wait till tomorrow, but I wanted to, just say today, didn't have the opportunity and we didn't have a council meeting, but the loss of James Bennett
Yes.
was a profound loss to this city.
Yeah.
As James was a statesman and a great employee in the city and gave his life to the work and diligence of the city of Newark. And I know the entire council, mourns his loss as well as this city. And I, continue prayers to the BA and the office that he's come out of, and to his family and to his wife, during this time. And so I just wanted to, say that. I was going to wait until tomorrow, but it was just pressed on my spirit to let everyone know in this city that is continuing to grieve his loss, that we're thinking about him. This council is thinking about him. He was a good friend of mine. I remember he ran for the school board and lost about 3 votes. And the energy and zeal and laughter and love that he still had, even after that. He was a tremendous person, and we'll miss him, but we'll continue to pray for his family.
Absolutely. Worth saying tomorrow too. Councilman Kelly, any requests?
No request, but just kind of, I just wanted to let everybody know that National Night Out supposed to be postponed until next week. I know that the city really looks forward to this night, from everybody cooking and different backpacks, groceries and all of that type of stuff. So I just wanted to let everybody know that public safety has said that because of severe thunderstorms, that's supposed to start from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. tonight, that National Night in Westside Park and in the North Ward and I believe in the North Ward too. And then definitely on South Orange Avenue will be postponed to next week.
Okay, duly noted. But I think that includes every outdoor event that's going to be happening due to I think there's like a hurricane or something that's traveling its way to us. So note that, don't go outside for those events as they have been postponed. Any other comments or requests from council members? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, public comment?
We are now in the 30-minute public comment portion of this meeting, where each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name for the record. Is there anyone wishing to address the council?
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Council of Newark. That sums it up. But, my name is Lisa Best. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come to this platform. I'm the assistant to the founder and executive director of My Sister's Lighthouse in Newark. Her name is Miss Jacqueline Limehouse. We are an organization that provides intervention and prevention resources for victims and survivors of domestic violence. We are also bringing awareness to our communities. Ms. Limehouse is also a survivor. Our services include, but are not limited to, emergency first response, rapid rehousing, and counseling. We formally invite you, the council in the city of Newark, and everyone in this room that's listening, to our October 5th Community Rally and Fest, which will be held at Mulberry Commons. So we'll be walking and then convening at Mulberry Commons. We ask that you would walk with us to give men, women, and children affected by this quieted plight. And yes, it is a quieted plight. It happens that we know people, we've watched it on TV, so we all have to have some type of voice for those who are not able to speak up. And just a quick tidbit, I do have some flyers and brochures for you all for the walk and from our organization. And just one more thing, according to the CDC, as of 2023 and 2024, 35.6% of women and 28.5% of men have experienced physical violence, rape, or stalking by an intimate partner. 48% of men and women have experienced psychological aggression by an intimate partner. So what I want to say to you all and everybody here, we are here for you. We want to give everybody, like I said before, a voice as they so rightly deserve. And that's their silent voice. So we are here to speak up, okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you
for your
so
time.
much for that information, and thank you for the work that you do. Can we have someone from the clerk's office get some of the flyers for us so we can make sure we have that information and we can share? Thank you so much for coming, and thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next speaker.
Hello, everyone.
Good
I'm glad to
morning.
be back. Good morning. Shakir McDougall, Seymour Avenue. The last time I was here, I lost my grandfather. Come to find out, he was a United States Army veteran, so that made me proud. But then right after that, I lost my mom, and it's the worst feeling ever. Like the fight was taken out of me, and you know, I went to church yesterday. Found myself at the church yesterday, Gravel Hill, and somebody grabbed me Saturday, said, God loves you and wants you to come. And I was able to go to church, and I was able to get some of that out because, I had to go back to work, life still happens, still got to get to work. But I'm always going to be here for my people because I know that's in me. So I do have a few questions. I have some stuff tomorrow to talk about. But 7R1J, where do we get the itemized list of other items for Newark Police Department? 7R1L, this is for BA. Sourcewell Cooperative again, okay, all right. 7R1M, so it says $575,000 for government access television studio. I would like to know how many jobs will Newarkers see from this, and will this be used as a propaganda arm of the city government, or will it showcase varying views? 7R3B, 3.5 million from NJDOT. What will this money be used for? I imagine you have an idea or even an itemized plan. I love when Director Ladd says that she has an itemized plan. I do believe in those. For the use of the money, we already are getting $500,000 for the planning department. 7R4A, there was a section D. It said city officials to undertake other actions and connections therewith. Please explain that for the record. 7R4B, where can we find the list of the foreclosed properties as well? I was thinking about that. And Gonzalez, I had a question about the pricing as well. When Deputy Mayor Ladd said higher end. I'll ask more about that tomorrow. For the Department of Engineering, I believe she said the infancy of the project, so things may change, and I understand that, but I employ moving forward that all departments have an allocated staff for comprehensive plans with respects to contracts in a PDF form. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McDougall, and definitely prayers to you and your family for your loss and death. I would ask someone from the clerk's office, Madam Clerk, if possible, to help Mr. McDougall with the process of getting answers to some of his questions. That would be great. Next speaker.
Good morning, Madam President. It's
Good
George
morning.
Stillman. I go to page 5 of the agenda for tomorrow, and 6PSF and F, the tax abatement for WTJ V Urban Renewal LLC. The developer who was supposed to get the tax abatement for owing the city to $1.5 million. As you knew, we are gathering in protest of that tax abatement, but even though it's deferred, we'll still be here because there are many things. You have 4 other tax abatements on here. You have 5 other tax abatements scheduled. We have no information from the administration on the contributions that have been asked for 2 months. We have no information from the administration about the disbursements from the money from the non-compliance, but we're going on like business as usual, and we know that the government is non-compliant. We've talked about the ordinance, Councilwoman Roundtree. I met with the BA. The BA instructed me and told me that we would have another sit down to discuss the commission that's not active, which make the administration non-compliant, but we're still going through doing these tax abatements. And the reason why we're having all this confusion and having these tax abatements coming up and forth is because of the fact that there is no commission overseeing this operation. The government is non-compliant. There's something that has to be done. We cannot continue to go and grant these tax abatements. The Newarkers are not working. Last year, 2023, the last amount that was owed to the city for those tax abatements was $45 million. And I don't even know what that number is today. But right now, those developers owe the city $45 million. And we're not even just talking about this developer that you was going to bring before to the people. And we're not even just talking about this developer that you was going to bring before to the people tomorrow and ask for a tax abatement, and they owe $1.5 million. But you'll continue to grant them. You'll continue to bring them forth to the people as though like it's business as usual, and we're not getting any jobs, we're not getting any benefits, but you still want to grant them. So we're still going to be here tomorrow, and we're going to be here at every meeting following that, because these tax abatements have to stop. Newarkers have to work. We have to get some benefit from you giving out these tax abatements. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Tillman. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm sorry, Councilman Council, you had a comment?
Yes, I just do want to make one correction. Mr. Tillman was invited to all of the tax abatement meetings, and I believe the chair put that information out that anyone is invited to our tax abatement committee meetings. We encourage folks to come and sit and be a part of the process. So,
All right, thank you so much for that information, Councilman Council. Next speaker?
Oh, yes. My
Good
name
morning.
is Reginald Turner. How you doing? First of all, I'm here just for, I know what I'm saying is 3 minutes, but I just want to change it up a little bit. I want to thank you, Councilman McIver, and the rest of your committee for the change y'all brought in my life. Because the last time I was here going through the process of the Riviera, the assistance from you and the other workers, I'm proud and I appreciate it to be in my apartment or room or whatever it's considered as. I want to let you know that I'm grateful of it. I'm trying to get it out because I'm so happy that y'all, you did something. It ain't all about come up here blasting you for that. I want to speak about something good. I want to change it up because I appreciate what you did. That's what I'm focused on, me and what I need to be done for myself. Because if I'm paying attention to everything else, I can't get myself right. So I just want to thank you and everybody that assisted you on it. And God bless you.
Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's good to, get that compliment. Thank you. Next speaker?
Good morning, Madam
Good morning.
President.
Good
Good morning,
morning.
City Council. My name is Joy Black. My address is 147 Norwood Street in the city of Newark. I'd like to talk about the transitioning of clients from the Riviera to our permanent housing. So I'm not here today as part of Fairstead. I am here today as a resident. Mr. Turner was one of our residents that we just placed. He was number 30 to get permanent housing. I would like to thank Mr. Lewis and Jason Buckley for helping us, but we have a big problem. We started this plan in December to be able to transition people into permanent housing. I am having a severe problem with 224 in the Riviera in terms of case management. The continuous dropping of the ball. We could have now had maybe 60 people placed. And I'm thankful that we got the 30 people placed out of the shelter, but we have to do something. I have a list that I sent to Mr. Lewis and Jason of all the people that the ball got dropped continuously. And I'm on top of it. I send a notice to them, get ready because this person is getting ready to be called. Next email, they're scheduled for such and such a date. Next email, this is what they will need. Next email, they came to the interview, this is what they're lacking. Next email, they have been approved, they have been denied. Next email, whether if they've been approved, this is what they'll need in terms of housing. We'll need funding for them to move in. They're coming from a shelter. They'll need a bed to move in. I can't tell you the amount of countless times that the ball has been dropped, where Jason Buckley himself had to come and get a bed for a 72-year-old woman that Catholic Charities, the Riviera, dropped off at my facility with no bed after she had been homeless for 2 years. We have to do something. I need your help. We're trying as hard as we can to place people. Fairstead is constantly moving. We're in communication with your office. Cortana, I'm always in communication with Juana. We're constantly placing people. You know, we're under new management. We have studios available for 62-year-old and older, but I can't do it if they're gonna drop the ball. I just can't. Thank you so much for everything that you have done.
Thank you so much, Ms. Black, and thank you for all that you do. You work so effortlessly in our community each and every day, collaborating and working with different entities, and that's what it's about when you're into serving people, so thank you for that. I will ask that Councilwoman Roundtree, if you can summons both the providers of 224 and Riviera to the committee to talk about what is the breakdown of why we can't get people to the most important piece of their life that they're trying to get to, which is back to permanent housing. If we can take a look at that from your committee, and anyone who wishes to join that with Councilwoman Roundtree, who leads up the homeless committee for the council, that'd be great. Okay, thank you.
We're actually working and meeting with some individuals. I met with Catholic Charities on another note. And Joy, I do want to thank you. My office has never been contacted regarding the needs, and I do sit on the Homeless Commission as well. I work very closely with Director Lario, which we have a plan in place, which all the council will be made aware of very soon regarding services, because that is an issue with me as well. And I'm sure that the other council persons that are aware, case managers is very, very, very important, because they didn't come here to stay forever. And we do want to be a part of the solution, not the problem. So we will be working, contacting you, but at the same time, as Council President stated, we will be bringing everybody to the table. And Director Lario, we probably will be introducing some of the new things that are on the way.
Yeah, and it may be good to coordinate Councilman Ramos and that too, not to put him on the spot, but his divisions that he has, I know has some resources regarding that. All right, next speaker.
Good morning, Deborah Salt, the City of Newark, Warrior for the People. And thank you for coming up here with that information, because that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. My issue is with the people who are getting paychecks to take care of our people, and they're not doing it. When I call you, Alario, I don't call you to hang out. I don't call you to say hi. Someone is in need. Return the phone call. I've got one person that I can consistently call, well, two. One that I can consistently call, but she's not in the good girls club, so she doesn't get the credit, who will step to the plate every time. When I am attempting to get people who are lying on the street, homeless, get them placement, and I make phone calls, y'all don't pick up the phone. One person does. I reached out to Roundtree and Silver because of something that was going on in the East Ward. Roundtree got back to me, Silver did not. So Alario didn't get back to me. I'm calling you because people are in need. You get a 6-figure salary to do these jobs. And then on top of it, the other people who are handling crisis, when my person called them and they showed up, the two no-nos who were there had no soft skills or people skills, People treat their dogs better than our people are being treated, who should get treated with dignity and respect. This woman was sweet, had a nice personality, could tell she had just some slight mental issues. I saw her 3 times. I tried to get her help. The last day I was able to get her help. The next time I saw her, she was belligerent, didn't want to speak. Nobody can help me. They told them not to bring me in to 110 William Street. The only reason I did not go with her is because I had another meeting to attend. There's a woman now, I can't even trust giving the people who need help to the people who are supposed to help them. The next time I see them, they're upset, they don't want to talk to anybody, and they're telling me nobody can help them. What do you mean nobody can help them? That's what you're getting paid for. And the problem is, because you all have people in these seats who don't deserve them, they don't know what they're doing, they had no gloves, he didn't even want to touch her. She was trying to get up in the van, and I stood there. First of all, he didn't even want to open the door. They pull up, he's sitting there in the van. Oh, you think I'm gonna open the door too? No, get out. Got out, opened the door, and the only reason that I did not address them then is because I needed her to go with them because she needed assistance. Because had I gotten on those guys, she never would have gotten in. And then to get there, and the next time I see her, they were told not to bring her in and treated her badly. Now she just wants to go, I'm gonna just go get me a piece of chicken and go to Penn Station. Nobody can help me. You all are causing the problems in this city.
Thank you, Ms. Salters. Thank you for your comments. Next speaker.
Breathe, Monera. Breathe. Breathe. Monera El Boumani. First, I want to just repeat things that I already said. Number one, we need an independent investigator and monitor into our tax abatement program and also over our budget. Our public officials and their designees are incapable of monitoring our budget and tax abatement program. I repeat, and I know you heard it before. Another thing, corrupt politicians should have no authority over our affairs, over our government. I repeat, you have deferred that tax abatement, that $1.5 million, because you are being exposed. And we're going to do everything in our power and our might to wake our people up and show them that you are an absolute failure. No other way to describe you over our budget, tax abatement program, and everything else in the city. This Baraka administration, housing and homeless plan is just another scam. Another scam to funnel money to these dysfunctional developers, housing, and homeless agencies that are being used to recycle poverty and homelessness in our city. I repeat, the budget. I said it at the last council meeting. Pink slip. A 2024 budget nearly at the end of the year. Unacceptable. And you wonder why I come out mad? Unpaid water bills and debt owed by corporations and developers in this city. Unacceptable. Where is the debt relief for our homeowners? Where is the debt relief for our 80% renters in this city? Failed leadership, no other way to describe you, and you need to be out of here.
Thank you, Ms. Bonami, for your comment.
Boo Monty.
Oh, I'm sorry, Boo Nami.
Boo
Thank you.
Monty.
Okay, don't
And what
yell
it
out. Don't
means,
no. Excuse me,
warrior.
officers. Can we help Ms. Bonami? Please don't call out. Thank you.
Say my name right.
Once again, stop calling out in the chambers before we remove you and you can't come back. Please. Next speaker, and that goes for anybody in the audience. Our officers, can we help with some order in our chambers? Thank you so much. Next speaker. Next speaker. All right, seeing no other speakers, public comment is now closed. With that being said, we're going to take a roll call to go into executive session upstairs in our council conference room. There we go. That was a tongue twister. I'm sorry. Before we do that, any responses from the administration? Yes, Mr. BA, please, before we head out.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Council President, council members, Louis Hilario, Director of the Mayor's Office of Home and Services. First, I want to start by saying I do have a great deal of respect for Deborah. Herman and I do communicate often, try to problem solve together. That particular day, I was in a private medical appointment. I could not pick up her phone. However, I did respond and asked her, what is the location? I can send the team over. I did not get a response. I still sent the team over there because she told me the intersection that they were at. And while I was handling the medical appointment, I was also managing texting, which we all often do. It's hard to balance work and life, but it is our responsibility, and I'm really passionate about this work. Another reason why we developed the text service is because it should not rely on one or two people, right? We want to engage the public, and developing those tools are important because, yes, previously, when someone needed help, you would need to know that person, right? Whether it's Roundtree, Kim, but now we kind of want to spread that out a little bit, right? And shoulder the work as a city. Again, I did my best to respond. I asked for the location. I did not receive it, and I still sent the team over. I can't comment on what happened there on the site, but I do know that an individual was actually evaluated by a crisis team and admitted to a psychiatric unit. So to me, that was a big win. Whether or not it was the person that Ms. Salter was referring to, I'm not sure, but I did want to clear that up.
All right. Any other follow-ups for council members before we have to head upstairs? Councilwoman
Just a
Roundtree?
brief one. I just wanted to respond to Ms. Salters. So she called me. I reached out to Jason when I couldn't get you. And Jason did respond, but I dealt more with the issue with the worker because of the treatment to the constituent, whether it was a mental or whatever. We do have to be careful of how we respond to these individuals. And I got more than Ms. Salters to complain about that. So Jason handled that. I just didn't respond to you with the results, but I put her on hold to talk to Jason. So
Yeah,
he said he dealt with the
yeah,
staff
and to Deborah's point about training, I mean, I agree. The mayor agrees. We need to have more clinicians on the ground that are trained to handle those situations. So we are in the process of, bringing in more clinicians. As a matter of fact, a psychiatric nurse practitioner that will be on the ground to handle those really high-level crisis issues. So it's we're going to continue to do that.
Thank you so much. Mr. BA, any other comments from any other staff? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us for today's pre-meeting. We look forward to seeing you back for tomorrow's regular meeting at 12:30 p.m. Can I have a roll call for executive session?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Scott Roundtree? Yes. Thank you so much.